Well, hello, hello. Welcome all to the public speaking support group inaugural first. I can put down the record sticky now, right? Our first interview, and we'll try to have at least one a week.
Great.
At least one a week, yeah. I have a couple of people lined up, and I mean, from you, I will also get a bunch. So let me introduce you to today's guest. Today's guest is my amazing client and by now wonderful friend, Larry Jacobson. He's the author of The Boy Behind the Gate, best-selling book, Amazon bestseller, award-winning, all kind of cool stuff. Make sure to check it out on Amazon, The Boy Behind the Gate. And the book journals his sailing around the world, a childhood dream that he made into reality, and he sailed around for 6 years. Wow. When I grow up, I want to be just like you. And then once he returned, he dedicated his life helping others make their goals a reality, also consulting with corporate clients, youth organizations, nonprofits, and 2 times TEDx speaker. And now he teaches others to improve their public speaking, from CEOs all the way down to anybody, an insurance agent or anybody who wants to network and wants to be more confident and speak in public more confidently. So Larry, welcome to the, what do we call this? Show, interview.
Welcome to the show, the greatest show on
Welcome,
earth.
Larry.
It's great to be here.
Did I miss anything?
You got all that right. You got all that right. You know, I
didn't read anything. I winged it.
I have, when I sailed around the world, I did that for me. But when I got home, I realized that wasn't enough. And so I really get my satisfaction from helping other people make their dreams a reality. I love it.
So today's topic, since we're in the public speaking support group, is improving your public speaking skills. And Larry does mostly paid speaking. He occasionally speaks for free, same as I do. And
for a good cause.
We do it for a good cause and because we have big hearts and we love to make a difference, but also hope that we will be seen by decision makers who will hire us and get paid for speaking. Because
we have to pay the bills.
Yeah, Mother Teresa can speak for free because she gets donations, but we cannot speak for free all the time. And many of our members here, they want to get paid. And some of them, they just want to improve their public speaking skills. So let me ask you a question before we enter the meat of our today's presentation. Is we will talk about the 3 first
some
tips on how to deliver a great sales pitch, or how to sell your services or products from the stage, or how to raise funds for your business. So we will talk about the first 3 elements or tips on that. But before we go there, let me ask you this. Before you left for your 6-year voyage, is it called a voyage?
Yes. Journey, voyage, Odyssey.
Odyssey, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you speak publicly? Did you do public speaking before you left?
Well, in my business, I was a vice president of sales and marketing. And so I gave hundreds and hundreds of presentations to corporations. So I consider that public speaking. And it was usually to anywhere from 2 to 10 people in a room. And I think that people will agree that speaking to a very small group where they're super laser focused on you is actually more difficult than a large group. And so because they're hanging on every word that you say, and they're not distracted using their phones or anything. They're just listening to you. And you've just come in to give your presentation as you watch the competition go out of the room. And so you're really got to be on for that. And I used to practice those presentations over and over and over again in front of the mirror until I knew it cold. And I used descriptive words, and it was really good. It was great practice. That's the only public speaking I did before going. And then when I got back, I wrote my book, then I went on to the paid speaking circuit. But I want to say one thing to the audience, and that is, before I got onto the paid circuit, I paid my dues. And what I mean by that is that I spoke for free to Rotary clubs, to the Lions Club, to the Kiwanis Club, to all these different places that would have me. And I gave my presentation for free. And I said, like, paying the dues, because what I got was stage time. So I got practice. I didn't get paid, but I got the practice in front of groups. And that made, I think, all the difference.
You don't want to slip up or give the wrong information when you get paid $5,000 or $15,000. If you, because sometimes you confidently say out something, and then people will either message you or say that, you know, that Terry Schiavo actually died. Like,
yeah, right.
Terry Schiavo, you see, like, what a miracle. He came out.
Yeah.
That's what I remembered. But no, I was wrong. He never came out of that coma. So
when you're speaking for free, it's like, well, hey, what do you want? It's free.
yeah.
But it's a matter of paying your dues. And I did that for about 2 years, actually. I spoke to every Kiwanis and Rotary Club and Lions Club in the Bay Area here.
And there are two tribes, two what is it?
Schools of thought.
That's the word, yeah. Schools of thought on this. One of them says that you have to give at least 100 free presentations before you ask to get paid. The other extreme is you should not waste a single speech on free speaking. I am convinced that the truth is somewhere in the middle, not
Yes.
that much in the middle, but more like 5 to 10 free presentations to at least, and record yourself, because you will be amazed that you are, like, every 10 minutes or every 3 minutes you're touching your nose or jiggling something in your pocket. I used to jiggle stuff in my pocket. I did not know. So, but because I watched myself, I realized. I was touching my nose regularly. So that wasn't, I didn't make that one up. That was me. I kept touching. So why am I touching my nose all the time?
This is a tip wasn't on the agenda, but we're going to make this into a tip. And that is, when you practice, not only do you practice in front of a mirror, but you tape it, you video it. And then afterwards, you do the most painful thing that you will ever do in your life. And that is to watch the tape of the video of what you just did. And that's exactly right, EG, where you find yourself touching your nose and you stick your finger in your ears and you, oh my gosh, or you're moving like this.
Or in my case, it was like, and then I will go on, and then again after a while I'll be like, and I had this long nervous that I had to eliminate. So I worked on myself a lot.
You know, I gave a speech 3 days ago to 1,400 people. And I realized in the middle of the speech that I was saying a couple of times. And I caught it, while I was giving the speech, but I was doing that too. And I believe, and it comes from being out of practice. And you have to, and therefore give as many speeches as you can to as many different groups as you can.
And become comfortable. And if you catch yourself saying don't say, oh, no, just keep on going.
Keep on going. But if you do make a mistake, it's okay to admit that you made a mistake, not with the or but
do not apologize for things that the audience doesn't know that you made a mistake. So like saying or you know what I mean 5 times, and you catch yourself, and then you don't say, oh crap, I said again, you know what I mean. No, just keep on going.
The worst one is like.
Yeah, like
like well, you know, like
and you
or
know,
I mean
so I really quickly let me tell you this story, and then we go into the 3 tips. I was at this presentation with a young man. Maybe I will not say his name. He's super famous, well, in certain circles. And there were like 200 people in the audience. And at the end, people stood in line to get an autograph, shake his hand, thank him for his presentation. And this lady stood in line for like 30 minutes. And she says, amazing presentation, great information. But she gave him a sheet. Here's something that you can improve. In your 2-hour presentation, you had 97 ahs and ums. You said, you know what I mean, 46 times. And she had it. And then what we love about this young man, he tells it how it is. He said, lady, you see that line back there? And she, yeah. He says, today I was selling the back of the room about $80,000. Do you think I give a fuck how many ahs and ums and fillers I had? Besides, I'm a Toastmaster Golden Gavel honorary recipient, and he got all kind of recognitions in the public speaking world. But he says it doesn't matter when you give a good information across. It doesn't matter how many ahs and ums you have. Nevertheless, it's good to continuously improve. I'm just sharing that story that don't get bogged down like you're giving a presentation and you catch yourself saying ah or and you're like, oh my God, I said ah. It doesn't matter.
Well, if you're doing 80 and 46 and all that, it doesn't matter if you're him. But if you're a beginner, it does.
If you're a beginner and your message, the value of your message is not up there, because if your value is up there, nobody cares. If I go to a workshop where they teach me to grow the best tomatoes, the sweetest, most beautiful tomatoes, I don't care how boring and how ummy and hummy the guy will be. It will be annoying, but still, I'll be so happy that I attended, and I will thank him for helping me grow those tomatoes or improve my relationship with my wife or with my kid, or something of value.
Why don't we give a little tip about how to get rid of those uhs and ums right now?
Go ahead.
And that is to know your material. Practice. When you video yourself, you'll see yourself saying and you'll hear it. And if you know the material, then there's no pause. You don't have to and
Not only that, but consciously become comfortable with silence.
Absolutely. The pause, the power of the pause.
So I want to tell you something, Larry, so listen carefully. Now, when you are a newbie, the pause that I just kept between listen, Larry, because I want to tell you something, and I spoke, for a newbie, that 2.5 seconds pause feels like 2 minutes.
Yes.
But no, it's only 2 seconds.
Watch President Barack Obama. He is the master of the pause. When someone asks him a question, he pauses a couple seconds. He says, let me think about that. Okay, and then he gives you the answer.
It also gives the audience a chance to anchor the points that you are trying to get across. If you keep on running, they have to keep up with you. That's so right. That pause gives a little chance to anchor things.
Now we just went into another tip, which is that varying your voice, the inflection, the speed, the volume. I consider that my voice has dial controls, the old-fashioned dial controls. One of them is volume, one of them is speed, and one of them is intonation. And I can speed it up and speak really fast, and I can talk loud, and I can say something that's really, really important. And then I can slow down. And when I slow that down and pause, the audience leans forward in their seat to hear what I have to say.
I know that everybody who is watching this, they've seen a speaker who comes in and says, hi, I'm Tom Johnson. Today I will speak to you about the most exciting topic, about how we can all together stop global warming, and right? And then you have to sit through 30 minutes or 2 hours of that. And I fell asleep a couple of times and in presentations like that.
Well, what's the matter with that? First of all,
puts you to sleep.
you were mostly just, you were all probably already just announced and introduced by the introduction, but with an introduction. They know that you're Tom Jones. You don't have to say, hi, I'm
Start
Tom
with your
Jones.
name, yeah.
You don't have to say good afternoon. You
Or
don't have to
does
say
the
good
mic
morning.
work?
Or is it, can you hear me in the back?
Yeah.
Right. You don't have to do any of that. You launch right into your speech, and you launch right into a super strong opening that engages the audience.
We just got into technical stuff, but that's the number one most important thing. Start strong. Don't start with, hello, can you hear me back there?
Right.
Feel cold, is the AC okay?
That's right. No, you open with a bang.
All right. So you see, I like to be, sorry, go ahead.
No, or a question, something that engages the audience.
Yeah, either a shocking statement like, did you know that
Yes.
87% of Americans this and that?
Yes.
With a show of hands, how many of you here believe that? Engage the audience, like
engage the audience.
Ask a question. Yeah, ask a question, or start with a strong story.
I'll give you the opening to my first TED Talk.
Yeah. Yeah, look up Larry. First of all, look up LarryJacobson.com. That's his website. And I guess you can see the TEDx speeches there.
On the speaker tab is where they find my 2 TED Talks. Yeah.
Yeah. And then on YouTube, if you type in Larry Jacobson, a retirement coach or leadership coach, you can find a ton of videos there too. But yeah, I think the best is through your website, because then they can click on your channel name also.
They can just click on the speaker tab and the videos are right there.
That's right.
Don't even have to go to YouTube. Yeah.
All right. So I like to be very organized. So as you can see, the call has a very defined structure. So let's hop.
Which we've completely blown apart already, right?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I jump around. It's
well, as long as we're giving information and good tips, it's okay that we're out of order, maybe.
Yes, no, these are all I think very valuable. I know when I started, I had a phobia of public speaking. I would have soaked all this in. I needed to hear stuff like this. This is how I grew, by listening to this kind of interviews and training sessions.
Public speaking is the #1 fear for most people in America and the world, I believe, but for sure in America. More people are afraid of public speaking than they are of dying. Now think about this. That means at a funeral, more people would rather be in the box than behind the podium giving the eulogy.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the 3 main keys to a powerful.
The 3 first keys. We got 11 of them, don't we?
Yes, and we will meet again.
Absolutely.
Not next week, then maybe in 2 weeks, but we will cover all 11, and I will invite Larry back more. We will talk about fear of public speaking. We will talk about paid speaking a lot, because many of our members, they want to get paid or want to get paid more. So we will talk about all that, but we'll have these again. I will try to have them weekly. So, all right, let's dive into the 3 keys. The first 3 keys, by the way, people can download that, don't they?
They can download all 11 keys from my website.
Okay, I will put it under the recording also, and
it's under freebies.
Under freebies.
Oh, and I believe it's on the homepage.
Exactly, I was about to say that's on the homepage as well. Yes.
Right. So it's and the document is 11 tips to become a better speaker. Now they're not only 11. There are a lot more, but I think I just stopped at 11 for this document.
Don't you have one more public speaking freebie on that page?
I have 7 keys to fearless leadership.
Okay.
Which is a really good one. It has some really good tips in there as well.
Really cool. All right, cool. So what is the first? So is this the most important, or is this just the first key?
It's first because it comes when you're writing your speech.
Okay.
And that is,
it's like a pre-speech key.
Yeah, it's pre-speech strategies.
Okay.
So, and that is that of having a foundational message. Something that is like an anchor, is something that is repeatable and memorable, and something that is the key to your talk, to your speech. So, for example, when I do leadership workshops, I keep repeating, leadership is your choice. And then I'll go on and I make a point. And then I'll come and a few minutes later, I'll come back and I'll anchor that point that I just made with leadership is your choice. When I give a speech about retirement and I talk about what's going to be your encore, what are you going to do next in your life? I'll say something and then I'll make a point with a story. And then I'll say, what is your encore? What is your encore going to be? I pause for a second and then I move on. So you have a memorable, short, and really anchors the purpose of your speech.
So when you say that you say something or a story, is it a story, or sometimes you give some value information like main points and then a story? Or
so we're right into point number 2 here, which is good. Okay, so the point number 2 is you make your foundational message, and then you might you establish what that foundational message is. Leadership is your choice. Then you make some points, maybe some things about how effective leaders, use their skills in leading others. But then you use a point to back that, a story to back it up. The best way to make any point, the best way to make any sale is with a story, because a story is a third person or a third party endorsement. So when I was in business, if someone would say, well, does this marketing program really work? And I would say, well, yes, it does. We have a client who's a company just like yours, and they make XYZ products, and they have the same distribution structure as you do. And they implemented this program, and last year increased their sales by 22%. Why would it be any different for your company? So the story about that other company is what anchors my point. And that's what proves it. It's like I have proof of what I'm saying.
And these days, many of us, and we learn to ask for LinkedIn recommendations and other kind of testimonials that we put up on our websites. Larry has like 200 testimonials on his website, or maybe more, I don't know. But if you are in the sales arena, whatever you do, consulting, coaching, whatever you sell, it doesn't matter. Make sure to always ask for LinkedIn recommendations if LinkedIn is one of your main platforms.
Right.
If you're on Alignable, ask for recommendations.
Right. Good point.
And people don't give it to you just because you are great. You have to ask.
You have to ask. And even when you ask and they say, oh yeah, absolutely, I'm going to do that, then they might not follow through. It's tough to get recommendations.
Sometimes it's tough, yeah, and you just have to follow up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And with story, what I learned was, I believe it was called PSA. Like, you make a point, you tell a story, and then you ask the audience to take action on that story. But the take action is not always appropriate. Like in your example, if you tell a story about how you helped other organizations, maybe the action is like, would you ask the audience, would you like this kind of results? And the action is they tell you yes or no, right?
Right. And why would the results for your company be any different than that company?
Exactly. And then I think it's an NLP strategy to get as many yeses out of them as possible. So you say, would you love that kind of results? Everybody's yes, right? And then you go to the next point, the next story. Would you benefit from that? Yes, right? Yeah. And by the time you get to the sales point, that's the theory. Then when you ask, like, so would you like to invest in this, or when would you like to start, or whatever,
right,
then it's already yes, because they're in yes mode.
Yes.
That's the theory. It doesn't always work.
That's the theory. And also, you can't be so obvious that they can see what you're doing.
Yeah. These days, everybody's too smart. Yeah.
Everybody's pretty smart. Yeah. So the third point, you want to go into that one?
Yes.
Because I think we're going to take too much of people's time. We want to keep these short, informative, and effective.
Yes, go ahead.
The third point that I wanted to bring up was engaging the audience. So, for example, I asked the question to the audience, do you know the number one obstacle to achieving your greatest dreams? Do you? Go ahead, shout it out. Or raise your hand if you do. Or throw out some ideas. Come on, anybody. And people will shout out, they'll go, money, time, whatever. And I'll say, good answer, but they're not the answer. Because they never get the answer. Because the number one obstacle to achieving your greatest dreams is your comfort zone. It's what you already have, the good things you have in your life. And that seems counterintuitive at first because everybody thought it was something else like time or money that was preventing you. It's your comfort zone that's preventing you from achieving your grandest dreams. So I've got them engaged. Then when I give them the real answer, they're like, oh. Then I can go on and make a story about that, tell a story about that.
Most speakers do not get re-invited because the audience is bored.
Yes.
So engaging the audience will ensure that they stay attentive and they don't have time to text message and that kind of stuff.
That's right. And you start that at the beginning, like we said, the very beginning. So the opening to my first TED Talk, which was 12 years ago, and I still remember it, was, if I were to ask you what the scariest moment of your life was, the most thrilling, the most exciting, could you tell me? And I pause for seconds and I say, just ponder that for a moment. And then I say, if you were to ask me that same question, the answer might surprise you because they all happened on the same day. And then I tell the story. Now I have them in my hands at that point.
Beautiful, beautiful. And they should listen to that speech. That's part of one of the TEDx speech, or maybe part of both. Yeah.
That one's called Passion Trumps Fear.
Passion Transfer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. So those are the first 3 tips.
I think we gave about 6 or 7.
Very powerful. Yeah. Next time we'll cover 3 more.
Yeah.
And I will promote this earlier and we will have people and then they can ask questions.
Right.
I know one of the questions that people would ask is, just really quickly, how can somebody improve their public speaking? How can they work on their fear of public speaking? Not improve, but the fear factor.
Sure. We'll address that next time.
There you go. But wait, there's more, folks.
That's right.
Time.
That's right. As we say, we can't spill all of our candy in the lobby.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time. And if anybody has questions, you can post it right here under the video, or can send it to Larry on his website. And you guys, you know how to contact me. So thank you, Larry, and thank you all for watching. And I'll see you next time.
Happy speaking.